Hi guys, today we're making a Galette Des Rois, and here are the ingredients you'll need. 1/4 of a cup of butter softened at room temperature, 1/4 of a cup of ground almonds, 1 tablespoon of flour, a little bit less than 1/4 of a cup of sugar, and 1 egg. So the first thing you do is you just mix all the ingredients together. You don't have to do it in any particular order, but I'm just going to start with the butter. So you just, see, the butter needs to be soft or else it wouldn't work. So you just cream the butter together and then you add the sugar. And then the dry ingredients. And finally, 1 egg. Okay. You also need your oven to be preheated at 450 degrees. And you need 2 sheets of puff pastry that's in the fridge right now. So this is what the filling looks like. The next thing you will need is 2 sheets of puff pastry. I just used this one. One box comes with 2 sheets already. So all I did was thaw it. I took it out of the freezer like about 30 minutes in advance, and I unfolded it. So when you unfold it, there might be some cracks, but it's okay because you could just roll it out with a rolling pin and it will kind of go away. So yeah. Next thing you need to do is I just have a round bowl or plate here, and then you just put it on top so you could trace a circle out of it. So just trace it around and cut the edges off. Okay. So I finished cutting these circles, and you just peel the edges off, like so. Alright, so after you have both your circles cut out, you take a cookie tray or a baking tray. I have a Silpat here, so it's basically a silicone baking mat that prevents the thing from sticking. But if you don't have this, you could use parchment paper. So all you do is take one of your circles of puff pastry that you've just cut out, and you just turn it over. I dusted this with flour to prevent it from sticking, so you could do this as well. Just try to brush all the excess flour off. And then you take the filling that you made earlier and you put it right in the middle. And you spread it. Make sure to leave about 1 inch of the edge, and you'll see why later. So now you take your egg wash, which is just one egg beaten with a little bit of water, and you spread it around the sides, and this is so this puff pastry could adhere to the other one that you'll put on top. So ideally you should be using a brush for this, but I do not, so I'm just using my finger. Okay, after you've covered the edges with your egg wash, you take your fève. You could use like a actual one, but I don't really have one, so I'm just using a whole almond. And you stick it anywhere inside. I'm just gonna put it right here. And then you take your second, your second piece of puff pastry, and you just put it over. Make sure to align the edges. Okay, I'm just gonna dust off the extra flour. And now you press down the edges with your fingers. To ensure that when it bakes, the filling won't come out. Okay, so next step after you've pressed down the sides is to take your egg wash again and cover the entire top with the egg wash. And once again, I'm doing this with my finger. So the next thing you do after you brush the entire top with egg wash is to seal the sides once again with some kind of pattern. You could either do it with a fork, use the tines and just press it down like this. I'm not going to do it right now. Or you could use a knife and do what I already started here. All you do is you take your finger like this and then you take your knife and kind of press it inwards like that to create a kind of I don't know what you call this. Just this kind of pattern. And just keep on doing it around the entire galette. Okay, after this you could make your designs on the top. And again, you could use your imagination and do anything you want. But today, I think I'm going to do this spiral thing like that. So you just take it and draw your design on top. Be sure not to go all the way through the pastry. Okay, now I'm done and I'm just going to make a few slits on the top to allow the air to go through. So I'm just gonna, it doesn't have to be any particular area, just a few on the top. That's it. So now the next step is to just pop it in the oven for about 15 minutes at 450 degrees and then lower the temperature to 350 and bake for another 30 to 35 minutes. You could check on it at around 30 minutes and just make sure that the top doesn't get burned. So when it's golden brown, then it means it's ready to take out of the oven. So the galette just finished baking and I let it cool completely. So as you can see here, there's a little crack and that's because I cut too deep when I was making the design at the top. So when you make this, just be sure not to cut through the pastry like I did. And also if you remember from the sides of the puff pastry, we cut out the little corners when we were making the circle, and this is what I did with them. I just wrapped it around some pieces of ham, so you shouldn't waste them, you could still eat it. And or you could put sugar or things like that, just be creative. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and good luck in the kitchen.